Ну, завтра с утра этот пяташка свободно будет.
Да,
Ты во сколько просыпаешься?
смотря во сколько лягу. Ну, ближе, типа 11, 11-12, ну, 10-11.
The bulldozer's engine roared to life. Mud and rocks flew as it fought for traction. It crashed through the concrete wall and landed heavily in the yard. If it were an animal, it would have shaken its head. Sarah trusted her gut, and her gut said Agent Nightingale was an asshole. He felt wrong, and it wasn't just the smell of stale booze. It was in the way he flashed his badge, pulled rank, the look in his eyes when he wanted answers. Where was Alan Wake? What was this about an accident? Where was his wife? And most importantly, why did she let Wake go?
Hello?
The most stubborn man I've ever met.
Alice? Alice? Guys,
Alice, I'm here.
I'm so alone here. It's all gonna go to hell. You need to be careful. Cooperate.
The connection had been terrible, but that wasn't the only thing that hadn't been right with the call. She sounded wrong somehow, but the pipe wrenched itself loose from the bridge's steel framework. Wrapped in darkness, it had called me. I could see a railway bridge up ahead, and a warehouse of some sort on the opposite shore. I hoped I could find her. That was pursuing me was growing stronger, and it was taking over everything in its path. What the hell? I slammed the door shut right in his smug face. He pleaded for me to open the door. True to form, the asshole actually thought I would obey. I had no sympathy left, no guilt either, not for him. I took a moment to savor the scream. I bet I had a smile on my face. It was all that I had time for. The dark presence was inside the lodge with me. As a teenager, just starting to get interested in writing, Stephen King had been a source of inspiration to me. I thought about all the inanimate objects that had come to life in his books. No one is safe in a good horror story. Certainly not the protagonist. That's what makes them fun. This was anything but. The darkness could possess anything, and it was getting closer.
Did you call 911?
Take the facts of our existence for granted, unaware that they are merely a thin veneer of desperate self-delusion.
The darkness surged towards me, sucking everything loose from the ground into its depths, tugging at my clothes. I saw the flare the kidnapper had dropped and threw myself towards it just as I felt my feet leave the ground. The darkness embraced me with the force of a tornado. Somehow I managed to light the flare.
Covering a vast cosmos of madness and horror. Too often the stars are
I had never been this glad to see the sunrise. I had a couple of hours to get to the coal mine. The coal mine wasn't far now. Today, I would meet the kidnapper, and he would give me Alice. I wouldn't give him any other choice. A drowning man would clutch at a straw. Little by little, without realizing it, I'd come to believe that the story in the manuscript was coming true. The current of its narrative had taken me deeper and deeper into dark waters. Alice had been taken from me. Barry was probably in jail. I was a fugitive from the FBI. The whole world taken over by the Dark Presence was trying to destroy me. It all felt real, but it matched a textbook case of insanity.
Охуенная лицензия, блядь. Ничего не
was early. I was supposed to meet the kidnapper at noon in the main building. The coal mine was quiet. It was a museum now. With Nightingale gone and the night wind blowing in through the broken studio window, Maine stared at Sarah. The sheriff looked away. Maine's voice shook with barely controlled anger. That boy's doing more drinking than thinking. I hope you know what you're doing, Sarah. He's... I didn't want to go outside. Cops had to be looking for me. The noon sun turned the place into a sauna. The day dragged on. Different scenarios ran through my mind. Ways of how I'd torture the kidnapper to get Alice back. Or the different horrible things he could have done to her. I imagined her dead. I had no way of knowing she was still alive. It was killing me. I was running on blind hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
Wait,
Where the hell are you?
change of plans. You know where Mirror Peak is? It's a big mountain north of where you are. You follow the path from the mine, you can't miss it. There's a lookout point there. I'll be waiting.
I'm through being jerked around
You
by
want
you.
to see your wife alive? Because if you do, you better watch what you say to me. Do we understand each other?
I want to talk to Alice.
Yeah, and I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello! Ah! I'm gonna kill him! I had to get to Mirror Peak. It was close. Maybe closer than ever before. When Thomas Zane fell for Barbara Jagger, it happened fast. She was young, vibrant, and beautiful, full of life. He had never been a very happy man, and without any seeming effort, she had changed all that. Zane felt good for the first time in his life. Everything she did was another piece of a jigsaw puzzle he hadn't even... through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Еблан тупой, блин.
Some of the Taken retained echoes of their former selves, but these were just the nerve twitches of a dead thing. Nothing remained but a shell covered and filled with darkness. In most cases, these puppets were enough for the purposes of the Dark Presence. But for anything more elaborate, as there was no way the flashbang grenades were standard power company equipment. I stared through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged. I had no real plan. I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk.
Ладно, пойду, наверное, давай. Не буду считать. Пойду. Бланк же я ненавижу нахуй. А, я открыл вообще пизду.
I had no real plan. I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk. The dark presence was moving ahead of me in the same direction I was going. A cold feeling settled itself in the pit of my stomach. Was it going for Alice?
The graveyard shift may cause cancer.
The place was dead, a ghost town. Had been for decades, maybe a century. Key for the door.
Я не голода только.
Максим уже готов. Ну, потому что я вижу. Ну, видимо, леталка. Я не знаю, тот поцик что-то не это. Просто я по месяцу не пришел.
Anything outside of writing is a struggle. I feel ill. I managed to make my way downstairs. There's a shoebox filled with books and papers by Thomas Zane. It's very hard to focus, but I managed to read some of it. He's a poet, and a good one. He writes of muses and creators summoning fabulous things from a magic lake, using his powers to shape the world of a realm of gods and dreams and demons, dark things that wait for a chance to slip through, wearing the flesh of men as disguise. Zane writes about himself, his girlfriend being taken over by a dark presence, about growing scared of the lake. Zane believes it's a mirror to the gaping void of darkness above, where some Lovecraftian presence lurks. I crawl back upstairs. I'll borrow these things for my story. They ring true. They fit.
Кто создал?
The kidnapper had sent me a text. The message was full of spelling errors and insults. It was telling me to hurry up. Birds. Even behind the closed doors and curtains of his grimy room at the Majestic, the local motel, Nightingale could feel the locals' eyes on him, the unrelenting pressure of their judgment. He forced it out of his mind. For all he knew, they could all be under Wake's spell already. You do what you have to do to get the job done. He took comfort from the bottle in his hand. I'd have to make my way up this mine shaft in order to go on. Maybe the machinery could help me with that.
Куда код-то, блядь, засунуть? Я хуй просышь. Тут у меня экспорт есть, импорта нет. Нахуй этот код, если его некуда будет сувать.
Какой нахер? У меня какой-то... Могу как файл скинуть, но какой-то странный, он 18 килобайт весит. У него еще расширение какое-то конченое.
Ну, у меня и типа это тоже не. Это есть типа, чтобы этим, блядь, паликом типа закинуть на этот. Ты мод именно закидывать, а не этот, блядь,
Так.
не профайл. Я не могу найти тут, нигде нет.
Сейчас посмотрим видосы на ютубе. Сейчас, смотри.
Блядь.
Перемога.
Перемога.
Кстати, я нашел в магазине около дома бороду Деда Мороза за 50 рублей.
О,
Кому надо? Борода Деда Мороза за 50 рублей.
Ха.
Кому надо?
не надо.
Что тебе принести?
Ну, бороды у меня нет, у меня шляпы там всякие. Как?
У меня есть шляпа, но я не хочу, чтобы мне на нее нарыгали, она крутая. А дешевая она не крутая, я посмотрел.
Данилыч сегодня должен был. Мы, короче, вчера договорились с бабушкой, что они нам, короче, оставят мясо. Типа им сегодня привезут, и они для нас отложат, короче. Вот. И Данилыч должен был зайти сегодня. Но Данилыч до сих пор на работе, блядь. Пиздец. Без мяса, нахуй, ребятки.
Может, до 7 работает, или он
Да, ну типа этот. Заставили, ёпт.
Ну, у него в январе 100 тысяч
Lightning
получит.
flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge.
М.
Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel
Ну он
hammer
дохуя
above his head.
получит.
Nurse Sinclair
Да.
was trying to calm him down
Прям
without
дохуище
success.
должен получить.
Tor
Ну
grinned
не
badly
100
and shouted,
тысяч. Ну,
"My hammer's up.
1080
Here's a
он
friendly
получит.
poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with
А у него будет Новый год каждый день в январе.
Почему тут? Всё. У меня сначала писало 5 мод. Потом как нахуй еще 50 добавил.
Oh, great. Another cable car. Just great.
Короче, запускаю.
Долго скачивается.
Я зашел уже.
Невидимый хуй.
Есть такое. О, ты деньги убрал, что ли? 80 рублей. Ну, было... Что было? Было 60, я поднял до 80, ёпта.
Не знаю, все убрал, когда проверял. Да бруталкам деньги ограничивают, походу. Так, блять, я сам к себе зашел.
Что, костюмов убирал, да?
Моя пишет ерор, а курит.
Чего?
Ерора курит. У тебя какая сборка стоит сейчас?
55 модов, да. Первое.
Бать, у меня тоже 55 модов, меня не пускает к тебе.
Лазит просто.
Сейчас. Пацаны распределили. Перезайдись. Нафиг надо опять. А, 4. В общем, купили цух, а моды не работают.
Shit.
Тебя тоже не пускает.
Да.
Переключаемся на другие сборки. Где 13 мудов или 15?
А чё тут 3 бруталки нахуй стоит?
Где?
А, нет, 2, все.
Запускаю где 13.
Сейчас. Скачать еще надо.
Maud had checked all of Stucky's rental cabins. There had been no sign of the wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the water.
Я зашел.
А нам как дойти?
I could see Cauldron Lake. I thought I could make out the spot where the island and the cabin had been. There was a light near it. It had to be a boat. I was close now. I had to get there fast. I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. I dreaded what I would find.
Wait! That you? Wait!
Hey, I'm here! I'm coming!
No! Get away! Sorry! please, it's late. The boss didn't know who he was messing with. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is. She's probably drowned. We just said we had her to make him play ball. You see? To get him writing for us.
Previously on Alan Wake. I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that writer just took out my deputies?
A thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice.
There you go, Alan.
Hartman. I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No, you're lying.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus. The door was locked. I was a prisoner here.
Good evening, Alan. Are we feeling better now? Feeling calm?
Yeah. I see you brought your pet gorilla with you. So sure, I'm calm. I get the message. Loud and clear.
quite right. That's the spirit. You're being very brave, Alan. I understand you're confused. I would be more concerned if you weren't suspicious of me. I don't blame you for it.
Big of you.
Now, why don't you come with me? We'll reacquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good. This corridor is for patients. Most of them aren't here right now. Jack took them out for a fishing trip, except for the ones who are particularly vulnerable, of course. I encourage creativity as a part of the recovery process here at Cauldron Lake Lodge. I specialize in treating artists.
I bet you do.
Splendid, Alan. I honestly believe we can get this thing under control if we work together. This way, Alan. Now, Alan, from past experience with you, I know I need to get right into the heart of the matter as quickly as I can after an episode. So I'm just going to say this. Alice is dead.
No.
You're in a very vulnerable state until you understand and accept this. Alice drowned, and you couldn't face that. You're suffering from hallucinations, paranoid delusions, unusual thinking, an obsession about light and darkness, a feeling that everything revolves around you, your thoughts and dreams. Your mind has constructed an elaborate fantasy scenario in which your writings are affecting reality. She has been kidnapped and supernatural forces of darkness are trying to stop you. We go this way, Alan.
I wasn't ready for another shot, so I went along with it. He had to be lying. But under the influence of the drug he had given me, I had to fight not to believe his words.